Right, so the first plant that I'm going to be covering in the low-cost windowsill garden is peppermint. As you know, I'm growing it in these, and I will show you two different ways today on how to get this plant started. You can either grow it from seed, or you can take a chunk out of an established plant and move it into a pot, and that's what I'm going to do today because I have such an established plant in the garden that I really don't need to be doing it from seed. But seed is very, very simple. What you do is you're going to get the pot. Now, I haven't filled this up very much because I'm going to be taking a piece out of my established plant and it's going to need the room. But if you were growing this from seed, you want to fill this up to that ring that you can see there. Fill this up all the way. You're going to spray it so that it's nice and damp. It shouldn't be soggy, it should just be damp. Sprinkle the seeds evenly, don't just put a clump. And then that way it's easier to thin out later, and then you can pick which one looks the strongest and the healthiest. You cannot put 6 plants in here. You're going to want 1 plant in here, 1 or 2 max, but really I would just thin it out to 1 once you know which one is the strongest and that you've actually had something germinate. And then you want to sprinkle about 1 centimetre of soil or potting mix on top of that. Now these plants do like quite a nice warm temperature to germinate. They ideally germinate, or you get the best rates of germination at around 20-22 degrees Celsius. Now these also like full sun, so if you have a south facing window, that is perfect. It will just about handle east facing and west facing, but it will not tolerate north facing, or it will be very pathetic. You'll constantly be fighting to keep it alive and it just won't thrive. So if you have a north facing window, I'm sorry, this plant will not really do particularly well in that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take a piece of an established plant and move it in here so you can grow it inside. So this is the plant. As you can see, it isn't nice and big and bushy. That's because we had this incredibly hard frost a few weeks ago. So I cut everything right down to the bottom. Now there's 2 different ways that you could do this. You could just take this and just go like that and cut out a chunk and lift it up. You could do that. Or in some cases, if you find a piece which is leaning close to the ground, can you see that? It's already starting to root. You can just take a piece of peppermint, cut it off here, stick it in the soil and it will take root. But to guarantee that you've got a much better chance of growing, just try and fish around, find a piece which has already got little bits of root on it, pull it out, stick it in the soil and it will take root and it will grow. So I've got my pot, I've got the peppermint in there, I have just sprayed this so that it's nice and damp. And what I'm going to do, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, is I'm going to make a small hole in the middle, prop this up a little bit, and then I'm going to add worm castings around it. Here are the worm castings, and there you go. Within a week, this thing is already going to be quite a lot bigger, and I can start making tea and cooking with it.